Alright, welcome back everybody to YouTube channel BTCTV, to the first crypto show Blockchain Stars. We are starting finally our finals, and we have 4 projects in it, and we have 3 judges. I just want to remind you that besides judges, all of you can also vote, and I encourage you to vote for your best project, because you are going to be, our audience is going to be like a 4th judge. So we will calculate total numbers of the votes, total number of the vote. The winner who will get $100,000 in the prize of our sponsors and partners. Meanwhile, let's start this video and you will find out about cool names of our judges and great projects which are in the finals. Are you ready? Let's go!
Welcome to the finals. And please welcome our incredible judges. Mark Hamade. Mark Hamade is a partner at an 18-year-old private equity firm, Vivaris Capital. Adept at pitching and closing, he has raised, assisted, and managed in excess of $1 billion with IRRs ranging from 30 to 60%. Miko Matsumura. Miko Matsumura founded crypto exchange Evercoin and is a general partner with Gumi Cryptos Capital. He is also a venture partner with Bitbull Capital and an advisor to Arrington XRP Capital. He is an advisor to LCX, the Liechtenstein cryptocurrency exchange. He is an investor in the Pantera Capital ICO Fund, a 100 million ICO-only fund. He is also an LP with Focus Ventures, a firm with over $800 million under management, 9 IPOs, and 44 exits. His Excellency Khurram Shroff. His Excellency Khurram Shroff is an early adopter and runs a private fund which invests in blockchain projects. He is an award recipient for the Banking and Finance Excellence Award for 2018 and got honored to be in the top 100 most powerful and influential Muslims in Great Britain and the world by Power 100. Scott Stornetta. Scott Stornetta is considered to be one of the founding fathers of current blockchain technology. The concept of a blockchain system was later adopted by Satoshi Nakamoto in developing the popular blockchain for Bitcoin. Now, he is Chief Scientist at Yugen Partners. Let's Blockchain Stars begin. Blockchain Stars are proud to present our partners. BitBay, X-Rates, CoinMarketCap, ICO Bench, BC and Law, the Blockchain Summit Austria, the European Blockchain Investment Congress, Malta Blockchain Summit, Digifinex, BlockShow.
Alright, welcome back everybody to first YouTube channel BTCTV and to first TV show Blockchain Stars. As you know, we waited this final part of our TV show for a long time. We saw 20 great projects, and right now in the finals we have 3 projects, plus we got one more which been chosen by the votes from our audience at YouTube channel. So I'm happy to present you the final part of this TV show, where they will present pitching to our famous judges. And let's start our show, and let's start with their first team who is on the line right now. And maybe let's start with Clement Chine with the project Spiking. So Clement, you have 5 minutes for pitching. So please introduce your project to our famous judges.
Thank you, Maxim, for having me here tonight. And hello, Mark. Pleasure to meet you tonight.
Pleasure is mine.
I come from Singapore, and we started back in 2016 when we launched our fintech app. Basically, what we do is this. We track the big whales, the sophisticated investors, the likes of Warren Buffett, Bill Ackman, Carl Icahn, and so on, who buy, sell live in the stock market of public listed companies. And back then, we are able to develop this app and launch in the market with the support of National Research Foundation, which is under the premise of Singapore's Prime Minister's Office. We also managed to win quite a number of prestigious awards, including the likes of SITF Gold Award for the most innovative startup app. Now, what we do and the pain point we solve is this. We believe there's information asymmetry between the big players versus the small retail investors. As a result, it is important for us to deliver timely market information to the retail investors so that they will know exactly the average price per share that the big boys are buying. So 2016, we launched that. It took us 2 years to expand into 4 markets. Today, we are present in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, and United States. And the definition of that, it means that in these 4 markets, we know exactly in real time what the big players are buying live of public companies. Then welcome to 2018. We decided to expand our product array by stepping into blockchain. And by leveraging the technology that we have already built and enhanced, today we are able to track the whales in the cryptocurrency market. And this is really exciting for us. We just recently completed our ICO. And what we do on our platform is this. We allow the followers to mirror the trades of the big whales, exactly which cryptos that they are buying, at what price, as well as when they are selling, at what price. We mirror the trades in real time. And this is what the project promised to deliver. So to date, what we have to offer is this. We are able to offer a divergence and convergence of people invested in the traditional old money stock market, and they want to bridge across to the cryptocurrency market. We believe the future is this. There will be a hybrid of instruments ranging from stocks as well as cryptocurrencies, and spiking will be the solution to bridge this gap. And I thank you very much for your time, and I look forward to answering some of your questions.
Sure. I like your pitch. You didn't mention anything about the team, which is the most important thing. So I want to know a little bit about the team, a little bit about your financials. You didn't mention anything about your financials, and you didn't ask if you need any money or anything.
All right. So thank you very much for your questions, Mark. So first of all, on the team, basically we have 2 teams. In fact, I would say 3 teams. First is the management team comprising of the core technical team. In fact, everyone in our company, we are all tech guys, except for our co-founder, who is the Chief Operating Officer. She's in charge of all things non-tech. Mm-hmm. So we have front-end, back-end engineers. We have UI, UX designers. We also have blockchain architects. So our core team, as you can see on spiking.io website, this is the team that's building out the fintech as well as the blockchain project. The second level, I would call them our stakeholders. Today, we have already successfully raised 2 rounds of equity funding, seed round as well as Series Pre-A round. And majority of our shareholders, of which we have more than 25 shareholders, they are CEOs of public listed companies, of which their companies are present in Singapore, Malaysia, Hong Kong, as well as listing on the NASDAQ. The third layer, when we launch our blockchain project, we form a very strong advisory team. And our advisory team comprises of individuals who have already executed very successful ICO projects. And one of the core team I want to highlight to you, our core team of advisors are the exec team from Gifto. 2017, they raised about 30 million worth of ethers in 1 minute. And we have 4 of the original ICO team becoming our advisors. So I hope I addressed that question. Secondly, your question.
Yeah, go ahead. Can you talk also how many customers you have in Hong Kong, Singapore, Malaysia, and US, And also, what do you charge per customer? Or if you're not doing that now, what are you going to charge?
Yeah, very good questions, Mark. So first of all, today we have already more than 180,000 retail users using our app. Our app can be found on App Store as well as Google Play. But most importantly is this, we have achieved a kind of a feat in the sense that we are the top grossing finance app, both in the App Store as well as in Google Play. This is really difficult to be consistently in the top 5. So we are charging them $150 per year when they go into our in-app purchase to buy our app. But this is just one source of our revenue stream. The second source of our revenue stream is we also deliver educational programs where we tie up with the whales. And many of the retail users want to learn firsthand know-how. How do you exactly get in, get out into the market? And so we have a second revenue stream of education. Third revenue stream will be advertising. So we also have many great clients advertising on our platform, trying to reach out to our customer base of users.
Okay, my last question for you is the cost per user that you're going to be charging, and then what if one of your top employees leaves and copies your model? How can that be protected?
So very good question, and in fact very insightful. So we have 3 teams being deployed in 3 territories. HQ is based here in Singapore. All source code is contained here, and we have our very loyal staff working with us here. I have more than a 10 years working relationship with them. Second team is in St. Petersburg. That is another team there, and the third team is in Saigon, Vietnam. So we have 2 remote sites, HQ, source code control out of Singapore. Now, to address your question about a key employee leaving the company, so we took 3 very important steps. First is in the contractual obligation between both parties, and that is really watertight, whereby both parties know the obligation, what they can and what they cannot do when they join and after they leave the company. Second part is in terms of the code. I think we are a tech company, so we are well guarded in terms of our source code, and we always have third-party architects coming in to double check. We have 2 to 3 layers of security. And the third part of which, of course, we also make sure that the architecture is robust, we can scale really very fast, and we spend a lot of time building our brand name called Spiking.
Thank you.
All right, thanks a lot, Clement, for your presentation to our judges. And right now we can go with the second project, and second project is Project Flype. Joseph, I would like to give you a microphone that you will present your project to our famous judges. I just want to remind that Project Flype has been chosen by audience. I got the most votes and decided by our audience to be in the finals as well. So you have 5 minutes to present your project.
Thank you very much, Maxime, and hello, Mark. Let me start by introducing Flype. So Flype basically is a sharing economy platform for international delivery. Every day there are thousands of travelers that are traveling from every city to the entire world. And many of them are very willing to take packages with them, deliver them to the final destination, and earn money for that service. For by doing so, they would reduce their travel costs significantly, while at the same time create an international parcel delivery service that is much faster, cheaper, and much more reliable than anything in the market today. We started with this project by solving some of the biggest security and trust problems that deemed it impossible before. By working with some of the biggest actors in the industry, dedicating 4 to 5 months of intensive research and development, Flype became the first company in the world to solve these problems, giving us the key of success into establishing the world's first secure sharing economy platform for international delivery. Afterwards, we moved on and we made a market test to test the idea, where we achieved amazing results. We were able to send 500 packages from Stockholm to 27 cities around the world and we had a customer acquisition rate of the customer acquisition rate was a very high 67%, showing the huge interest for this platform. Now the travelers and the senders, both of them loved the service. The senders were able to send parcels across continents within one day, and the travelers were able to cut their travel costs significantly. Afterwards, we moved on into building our team, which today consists of 14 very talented people. We have a very solid tech round, some of the greatest minds that are working together with us into making this project a success. We have completed the development of our prototype, and we're building on the technology today. We have been recognized into various conferences. We've won awards. One of them was at Malta Blockchain Summit, and the other one was the Top Idea Award at Sweden's largest startup competition. And here we are today. Today we are raising our first equity round, our A round, which we started very recently. And we're moving forward very strongly, believing in the potential of this project.
Thank you. Can you talk about a little bit about your team, background and experience in your team, and also talk to me about the cost per transaction for each and how you're going to monetize it?
Absolutely. So our team, the two co-founders are myself, I'm the CEO, and we have our co-founder, Danny. My entire background is within business development and entrepreneurship. Danny is one of the most amazing and skilled programmers, software developers that I've worked with. Our team consists, our core team consists of 11 people. We have our project manager, our community manager, content writer, and we have our development team consisting of blockchain experts. We have our back end and front end staff, and they're very capable with and very experienced people. And we have our advisory team as well, consisting of 3 people. We have John McAfee on board. We have yourself also with us on the team, and we have Stefan Bergström, who is a Swedish angel and advisor.
Who's your competition?
Well, you could consider DHL, PostNord, FedEx, and these delivery giants are competition. They are the monopolies that control this entire market. And today there is no other alternative for people that want to send packages than to go to them. This is the reason why people are very pissed off at them, because the customer satisfaction rate is very low, because their services have a lot of problems, a lot of issues, and people want to find other alternatives. So basically these are our competitors in the market. There's no company today that have been able to successfully build a sharing economy platform for international delivery.
And what is it to prevent them to copy what you're doing? Once you do it right and properly and launch.
Yes, basically. So, the sharing economy market is a very fast-growing market. It's a market that grew from $14 billion in 2014 to an expected $335 billion in just 2020. We're talking about big actors that changed industries such as Uber, Airbnb, eBay, and many others to mention, but no company has been able, up to date, to change the international delivery market in the same way. And the reason is that no company has been able to develop solutions to the security and trust problems within this concept. It's things like, if you're traveling from Santa Monica to Stockholm and I want to send a package with you, what if I put drugs in my package and send it with you and you get caught? Or what if you try to smuggle drugs in my package and then when you get caught you say it's Yusuf's, it's not mine? And it's these kind of problems that nobody has been able to solve, and Flype is the first company to solve them, enabling us to create this project successfully.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Joseph, for your pitching and for your time. Now let's start with project number third one. This is, I'm inviting a team of Playway to join us, and right now you have 5 minutes to present idea behind of your project to our famous judges.
Hi guys, can you hear me good? Can you hear us good?
Yes.
That's great. My name is Peter, this is Chris. Chris is a founder and the CEO of Playway itself, and he would like to explain you a bit about the company, and I will share the screen and I will show you the slideshows, if that's all right with you guys.
Okay. Hello guys. So Playway is a company which is a publisher and founder of many games. We have about 40 daughter companies. Some of them are on the stock market in Poland, and Playway also is a main company which is on main stock market in Poland with capitalization about $250 million. We are developing a lot of games, but as you see on the slide, there is information about our internal teams and daughter companies. It will be some slideshow for investors, but you can see what we are doing. Yes, so we are doing simulation games with many teams, U-Boat and many other popular games which sell so well that we have big capitalization. We are second company after CD Projekt, which are developer. So we are a second company on the Polish stock market. And problem was about game ideas. With having so many development teams, we still need more and more game ideas, because as we show in the past, game idea is most important for our development. For example, this game House Flipper was cost just $100,000, but to our daughter company get more than $10 million profit previous year. Of course, we are company which join all development teams. So in one company, we have publishing team, investment team, distribution, and other daughter companies are just developing these titles. But what is most important, we need new ideas. So, for example, here is a screen where we checking new ideas based on this pre-production phase, and we checking it on players if they like this idea or not. And we need blockchain to check, to take new ideas from the market. I give you some screenshots. Of course, this is these are screenshots for capital funds in Poland, but you can see what games, how many teams. This is, for example, a list of game releases of our group in this year. So there's usually game company have a few games per year. We have a lot of them. We have PC games, also mobile games. Most important, for example, Car Mechanic has over 10 million downloads last year. Okay, so maybe Peter told us something about blockchain in our strategy.
The project. So that was like our main company, and that's what we thought. We would like to, because we need more of those ideas, we thought about developing the blockchain product, which will allow for everyone who's giving the idea of getting some revenue from any new projects which we produce. That's why we thought about creating token which has got built-in dividend in it, and the token works in that way that everyone who's gonna have the token and everyone who's gonna get who gonna give idea for us gonna get some reward. For example, if any player will give us idea for the website, he's gonna get 1 token per accepted idea. But during the production, if we're gonna put that to the game demo or the pre-production, or we can product the game, he's gonna get even up to 10,000 token, which is worth $10,000. Those $10,000 got still built-in dividend. So it means if the game is gonna go to the production, 30% of the profits from that game gonna go back to everyone who's got the tokens. That's why we put that as a profit share, and then it's going back to the same person who gave idea. But the person don't need to be the only one who gave idea. It can be investor or anyone who would like to have some tokens as well. So everyone is able to get the 30%, let's say, dividend from the game system. Also, we've got over 50 teams right now. It's like a computer game programming teams. We need those more ideas to create more and more games, of course, and we're spreading all the time. We're getting more teams along the board. This is our team. This is our main core team right now. It's Chris, me. We've got 2 developers, Ethereum developers. We've got some persons sitting in a computer games industry as well. We've got some people who are from the law point of view in our core team. We've got our developer studio, so all our developer studio as well, they take part in the project. They're gonna help to validate if the ideas are good. They're gonna vote for them. They're gonna accept. They're gonna create that take that to the production. And I think that's it really. That's what we're trying to create.
So a lot going on there. What I didn't like at all is that you're using blockchain not because there was a need in the market, but because you don't have any ideas, which is not the way to use blockchain really. Blockchain is to be used if there's, if you see a pain. And this is where a lot of companies have failed. But what I like about what you're doing is you've got a great company with a great product, and you're wrapping your product around a blockchain to give people the opportunity to build a new game like a Lego or whatever, and then give them with the coin. What I'd like to see really though is using blockchain to streamline everything you've got. You've got so much going on, so much going on, and it's just all over the board.
We still got quite a few teams. We've got people coming to us all the time asking if we can help them creating, for example, games based on the blockchain as well. We're not saying no for that. We might do something like that as well, but the main reason for it was to be able to spread the shares really for everyone in the whole world and really quickly. Because, for example, right now, if you would like to go in and cooperate with us, you probably need to be from Europe, from Poland. We're not allowing anyone else from probably like a whole world easily to get shares from our new games. And we thought that would be the easiest way to do it.
But then you're not opening up for ideas though, right? If you want true ideas, you open it up to the world. And
yes.
Are you a profitable company?
Yes, we are.
Okay, so if you're... Go ahead.
We are second company on the stock market on capitalization. We never have minus.
Yeah,
we never lose money in history.
Okay, well, I mean, well, that's great. So then you open it up to the world to get ideas from everywhere, and maybe you minimize the amount of tokens or coins to have. That way, you don't give out too many, right? But then, I like where you're going, but I just see it from two ends. It's like, we want the best ideas. We want the best games. But then you're not opening it up to everybody, right? So it's like, okay, hey, let me get a VPN in Poland, or let me move to Poland, right? So I think you want if you truly are missing ideas, like I've worked with EA Sports, et cetera, things like that. If you really want these gamers, these great ideas, you want to open it up, and then you want to have a piece of your company set aside to protect that coin, right? So when you're giving up a coin, so I'll give you an example from a medical standpoint with one I did. Doctor does Botox, et cetera. People want to go to get the coin to do Botox, right? And he gives the coin to friends and so forth. So people are flying in to use the coin. He's backing the coin with his real estate. So if he ever runs away or it blows up, they can sell the real estate, which is worth $35 million. So you have to have an asset to protect the coin, right? Which you do, your company.
Mm-hmm.
But then,
some kind of utility of the coin, do you mean?
yeah. So that way, let's just say you guys shut it down and completely go. I have a coin. I'm in trouble.
Well, so I will show you something else as well, because even if you've got a coin and we are shutting down, we've got over 100 games on the market right now. You can use that coin to buy our games quite easily on a game store. We create a game store, we put our biggest production. For example, even like a car mechanics simulator, we sold it for over 10 million players worldwide. And as well, even if everything is shutting down, we are not shutting down, for example, but if you would like to create a new game, but not through our development company, you can carry on and developing, for example, give the idea for the system, and the developer from different parts of the world can accept the idea and create that for the tokens. So that would be totally blockchain then, because we're not stopping for it. But at the moment, we know that we need to just make sure we got that with our developers, because we know that they're going to give us the 30% of the money because they are all connected with us.
Yes.
Got it.
Yes,
Okay.
and the Chris, for example, Playway, the company, owns over half the percentage of each developer team. So which
Whole company.
all the company as well, and he on his own he owns half
I'm
the
not
company.
going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere.
Okay.
So
Well,
it's like
you know, Tycho said they weren't going anywhere, right? Enron said they weren't going anywhere. So you know, you really can't say that anymore these days. You can't. You have to put a mechanism to protect people. You know.
We, as a stock market company, second on our market, we don't want to do anything bad. Yes. If we are working on this STO project, I think 18 months, and we didn't start it clearly because we are still checking if there isn't any problem. Yes, it's very important that there can't be any problem, because we have so many teams, so many games, that we don't have money for any hate from anybody for our titles. Last year we sold House Flipper 1 million units for $20. Yes, it's all because we give players good games in reasonable price based on very good ideas. And we need next ideas. I was the car mechanic is a game about fixing cars. Yes, it was my idea. Nobody think that game like this can be good game. It's a puzzle game. It's nothing special. A lot million of downloads on the mobile. A lot of profits from PC Steam edition. 10, 15 companies in cooperation like Porsche, Mercedes, next edition. So this is strong game idea is very important in our business.
Yeah, no, it is. I know Nolan Bushnell very well, but again, if you keep going back to the ideas, and I'm stuck with, you're not opening it up to the whole world.
But we are opening now. Yes, we are getting ideas now from Poland, from our teams, and we need ideas from all people. Yes, I was the founder of, I think, half of ideas in our company. Most of teams work on my ideas. 2 weeks ago, we put Train Siberian game on the on the YouTube. It's 500,000 views now. But I will not have ideas for next 12, 20, 50 teams which are coming to us. Yes, our company have let's say 40 teams 2 years ago. Now we have over 70 teams still next coming up, and they usually don't have very brilliant ideas.
They're executors. So you've got people to execute the idea. You just need the ideas so they can start working on it.
Exactly. We've got enough people to produce any game we want to, but so we are opening to the whole world right now, because right now we are, for example, we're getting access to just from Poland, but right now we're giving that opportunity to everyone from the whole world. That's why Yes, that's what you said, that we closing. No, we just totally opposite. We're opening to the whole world because of that.
We have Facebook, for example, over 200,000 people, fans of our games. And just an idea, we're working on this idea to build this, let's say like behind us, some small trailer and put it to our Facebook and check and ask people, do you like this game? If they like this game, they will say, okay, try once more and give us bigger trailer, give us more information about this game, but we need fresh ideas. I'm maybe developing these ideas from a lot of years, but I will not be able to give 20 ideas per year, yes? Maybe 5, max for me.
Yeah, but you're giving great ideas, so that's all right.
Yes, but I have too many teams, yes? Usually, group of developers in the world have a few developers. Yeah. We have a lot of them. And ideas is just one thing which is problem for us. I don't want game developers from 10 people working on a game which we know that it can be not success. I want people which will make a pre-orders for $30,000. Previous, we tested a lot of games on the Kickstarter platform. See on our account Playway that it was 15 games which take from the market about $2 million, and it was very good try for an idea of the game, yes. But it's nothing changes because we still need next ideas. That's why if you will pay to anybody 10,000 token for idea which is going to production, it's very important, because if this price of this token, let's say, will go from $1 to $2, is somebody which will give us idea will get $20,000 and it will be under dividend. And it's a super business for us because he will get $20,000 plus dividend, let's say $10,000, but we will have bestseller for $10 million in our company. And that's all. Yeah, I get it.
All right. Thank you guys for your presentation. Mark, do you have still more questions to Team Playway, or you ready? Okay, great. So now let's, thanks again for your presentation, Playway. Now let's go to the last project inside of our TV show. This is Project Kambria. I'm requesting William to join us. So William, you have 5 minutes to present your pitching about your company to our judges.
Thanks for the intro. It's nice to meet you, Mark.
Nice to meet you.
All right, so I'm also going to share my screen. Sure. Can you see?
Yep. Yes.
All right. So we are Kambria, and we're building an open innovation platform which connects researchers, developers, companies, and backers. And what we do is our platform, we allow developers to innovate from the entire innovation process, from concept to design to manufacturing to delivery of the product. And this includes both hardware, software, and framework. So we provide all of the tools needed to build robotics, AI, and we're also going to work with other frontier technologies after we tackle these two. And so Kambria is the first blockchain project to build an open innovation protocol. We incentivize collaboration, research and development, manufacturing, and commercialization of AI and robotics. And we're specifically focusing on the consumer space. Right now, there is not a lot of consumer robots. You are basically limited to a vacuum cleaner, and that's about it. So this is the team. We have our 3 founders, Tuk Wu, and he is a PhD from Stanford and also Carnegie Mellon in game theory, robotics, and computer science. Jared Go is another Stanford and Carnegie Mellon graduate in computer science and robotics, and Tingsy Ten is a master's in computer science from Calgary. And we have a lot of high-level people on our team. And we also have a great list of advisors. You have from Hashed, Kyber Network, We Trust, Roger Lim with Neo Global, Regulus, Tomochain, and HCA. We've since added a couple advisors to this list. And so we believe that the next wave of technology is due, especially in the consumer space. If Metcalfe's law holds true, then we still have a a lot of innovation to go before we reach true AI and robotics. So we see this space growing a lot. So we believe that the next wave of revolution is going to be open source. As the CEO said, that robotics and AI are too important to be in the hands of just a couple companies. So the reason for Kambria is our team built a robotics company called Omni Labs in 2015, and through lean manufacturing processes, 3D print robots. And what we discovered is obviously robotics is very difficult and it's very wasteful. Most companies work in silos and they do not share information with each other. So when companies would come to us and ask us to build them robots, we learned that a lot of people were trying to build robots, but they simply couldn't, whether it be due to lack of capital or just a difficulty. And right now with these silos, you have a lot of wasted effort and inefficiencies. We've estimated that approximately 85% of the innovation process is wasted effort. So our aim is to build that 85% and let the others innovate on the last 20%. So how we innovate is as important as what we innovate. And our solution is global. So just like Linux, we aim to build an open source platform where users can come together and collaborate and build new ideas and innovations. We have our Kambria code base, which is thousands of repositories. We focus on hardware, software, framework, AI, and manufacturing. And it's inclusive and accessible to all. And it's one of the reasons why we built on blockchain is permissionless. So it allows people to collaborate from anywhere in the world. So again, we believe that the best technologies are open to humanity. So our open innovation protocol allow contributions to be automatically evaluated and attributed. The community collectively ensures licensing agreements. We have legal protection for people who are building on our platform so that these cannot be stolen. And then we have governance. So users and stakeholders will vote on the network. So we're enabled by blockchain for a couple of reasons. A lot of people ask this. So first and foremost, our CEO is a PhD in game theory, and this allows us to build our own token economy. So we can control how the token works and how the economy works. In addition to that, blockchain is permissionless and trustless. So when innovators build, they can collaborate with other people without having to worry about if they're going to get paid or not. So we're using smart contracts for this. And we may eventually build our own main chain as well. So we're doing micro licensing and value flow and network protocol. And we believe in blockchain. It's important for our token economy. And so some of Kambria's benefits are we can bootstrap communities quickly. We cultivate network effect through incentivizing people to use Kambria. We enable preemptive contributions through a pricing of our derivative network and reward openness. So we believe that rewards are incentivizing people to use any platform. So we are offering incentives to build on Kambria. Every part of Kambria that you contribute to, you will earn rewards for. In addition to, we have our CAT token, which is the currency used to do anything on the Kambria network. Everything that you do on Kambria requires CAT, and then we also have a non-tradable ledger entry called Karma, where users who contribute to the Kambria network will earn Karma for everything that they do, and Kambria is going to take 20% of our profits and distribute it to Karma holders with CAT, which is our native cryptocurrency. So our first verticals are AI and robotics. We have a robotics app store live right now. We have soft launched our product in September of 2018. This is limited functionality for now. We have our Kambria code base on there that developers can work with. We have our robotics app store, and we have our governance and voting model in place. We're working to add to that right now. We're going to be building out more of the code base and allowing people to import their GitHubs. We're going to host bottom down and top up innovation, which I'll talk about here in a minute. So we have our developers, companies, and backers, and this is the ecosystem for Kambria. So how it works is the users, for top-down innovation, users will create demand, and the companies will come in with an idea. Let's say they have a robotics platform that they want to build. They can come to Kambria and host a bounty challenge and allow innovators to collaborate, and also for backers to back these projects and get a piece of the pie. So we have our backers here. They can look on the Kambria marketplace for challenges and say, I like an idea, I want to back it, and they will earn a part of the licensing fees for that product. As well as our developers, this would work for bottom up. So let's say developers have a great idea, but they lack the funds to build it. They can come in and propose to request funds, and then backers and companies can come in and fund that project and allow them to build their platform, which it will all be built on Kambria and be open source. So, and we also have a manufacturing alliance. We work with a lot of different manufacturers that we've gotten to know over the years, so we can connect developers and companies to manufacturers that can build their products for cheaper, streamline that process, as well as we have 3D printing farms that we utilize and we allow people to use for a cost for the Kambria network to 3D print robotic parts. And payments are automatically attributed through smart contracts. So Kambria democratizes and decentralizes technology ownership, manufacturing capability, product monetization, robotics development, and collaboration enforcement. We're building a developer community. We have a partnership with Ideas, and we work with top universities to host hackathons and also other companies. We've developed a strong user base of developers, and we recently launched our Global Innovation Fund, and our first sponsor is, or we're sponsoring Lehigh University to build robotics on the Kambria platform. So we've also built an AI alliance where we work with governments and top universities across the world with the best AI developers in the world to open source and build the next generation of AI. Our research partners, which are primarily universities, generally lack funding, and this allows them to request sponsorship. It's easy to jumpstart projects. We can commercialize the project for them. They'll have access to labs, robots, kits, machines. They can reuse other people's ideas. See, everything that's built on Kambria can be compartmentalized and modularized so that if one innovator wants to come in and utilize, let's say, an autonomous platform that somebody else built, they can pay the licensing fee and directly implement that autonomous platform into their telepresence robot or whatever they're building. So this allows, let's say you're really good at motors, well, you can build just motors and license that out, and everything can be shared and utilized on our network. So reusability, collaboration, and also intellectual protection. We also launched our open innovation hubs, which are physical locations with 3D printing, mentorship, and education programs. We have one in Silicon Valley. We're opening at least 4 more in Japan, South Korea, Vietnam, and India. So we have a fully integrated solution. We aim to build navigation robots. We already have started work on an autonomous platform with LiDAR. We have robotic arms, which are called cobots. We build 3D printers, and we have a successful robotics company called Omni Labs as our sister company, which is another platform that people can build off using Kambria. So, it's going the wrong way. Okay, that's fine. Let me close.
All right. Yeah.
That's about, yeah, that's all.
All right. Thanks for your presentation. Now, let's start with maybe questions and answers. If you can, please post your presentation.
Yeah. What are your revenues right now, and how many customers do you have?
So we soft launched Kambria in September, and we have our hard launch mid-year. So we have about 300 developers ready to deploy, but we have to really get the full launch to have the full platform for them to build on. However, Omni Labs did 500,000 last year, and we believe 2019 will be $3 million.
Okay, that's the traction you have. Yeah. Okay. Well, what's the market opportunity, and who's doing anything close to what you're doing?
I actually don't know of anybody that has the platform that we have.
Exactly, yeah.
Couple,
they have separate ones.
Yeah, exactly. But, robotics and AI, but the way that we're doing it is we're promoting collaboration between, we would actually invite our competitors to come work with us rather than be a competitor. So I don't know of anybody that has a platform quite like this.
What is your burn rate going to be when you're fully up? Do you know?
I don't know that. No.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, William, for presentation of your project. And now we are coming to the most interesting part of this TV show, because now our judges will give score ratings to each project. However, we want to also mention that all our subscribers, all our viewers can also vote at YouTube channel, and then we will calculate all those points all together, and in 1 week we will present a winner of our TV show who will get $100,000 from our partners. So now I'm going back to our judges, and first one is Mark Hamade. I'm asking now, what the score will you give to each team and why? So we started with this project spiking. So in your opinion, what score will you give to them?
Well, I looked at the elevator pitch, I looked at momentum, traction, market opportunity, the problem, the solution, team key, market strategy, competition, investment, overall feel, and there were a few things he didn't mention, but he came back. So I give him a 9.
Okay. All right. Excellent. Thanks. My congratulations to team of Spiking. You got 9 out of the 10. In my opinion, is very high rating. So now let's go with the second team with the project Flype. What score you will give to them?
Well, I'm going to give Flype 7. And the reason why I'm giving them a 7 is because their product is still not out there. They've tested it and so forth, but it's still, until it's really fully deployed, we don't know. So they're just not as far along.
All right. Still, in my opinion, this is good rating as well. This is not the end, because we have another judges. Maybe they will give another rating, plus audience, as we know, already saved project Flype, so it will be saved already again during this time. So now let's go to the team number third one, Playway. So what score you will give to them?
I'm gonna have to give them 8.5.
Wow.
They're just such a good company. They're very innovative. They're doing so many good things. I have a few concerns that I think they can overcome, and if they do open it up to the world, I think it's good. But that's
okay. Good. 8.5 out of 10 is also excellent score. And we are coming to the last team of Kambria. So what rating they will get?
William did a fantastic job. It was the best one as far as presentation. It was very crisp. It was all the way through. But he got dinged on that last one. He didn't know. So I'm gonna give him 9.5.
9.5 out of the 10. So wow, this is the highest today, the score from Mark Hamade. My congratulations to all our team. Mark, thank you so much for coming and staying with us, and to all project as well. We will wait now. Yes, and now we will wait for the votes from other judges, their scores, and from votes from our audience as well. Thanks again for everybody, and let's see who will be the winner just in 1 week.
Scott Stornetta. Scott Stornetta is considered to be one of the founding fathers of current blockchain technology. The concept of a blockchain system was later adopted by Satoshi Nakamoto in developing the popular blockchain for Bitcoin. Now, he is chief scientist at Yugen Partners.
All right. Now I am super glad to present you one of the famous judges, Scott Stornetta. Scott Stornetta, I'm calling him father of Bitcoin and blockchain industry, because he's standing on the beginning of the whole blockchain industry. So thanks a lot, Scott, for coming to us and staying with us.
Those are 4 impressive ideas.
Yes, I can imagine that the choice is very difficult to give properly score to each of them, but still we would like to hear your opinion for each of the project. Please tell us. The first team was Spiking. So what do you think about spiking and about what score you can give to them?
Well, in a sense, the ordering for all four of these companies works on, I think of on two different axes that are sort of contrary to each other. Spiking has a clear track record of getting a customer base that wants to follow the leading players in the traditional equity side. And so in a sense, their value proposition by moving over to the crypto space is the simplest and the most direct. They have a successful model and they simply want to extend it into a new domain. And so it may not be the most innovative or creative idea, but it is the shortest path to success. And so there's that trade-off between the chances of success and just how big a reach they are making. Again, I think pretty highly of the likelihood of success for spiking. Should we talk about the others in turn before I come back and talk about?
Up to you. Yeah. Okay. Let's go to the next. Next was Flype project.
So Flype, in a sense, is almost at the other end of the spectrum. Namely, it's a very disruptive idea, right? Sort of to become the Uber or the Airbnb for disrupting Federal Express and DHL. And it's not just a one-to-one match. My guess is they're really trying to emphasize the immediacy of delivery. The fact that they can get these things out on the next flight out, as opposed to 3-day shipping or 2-day shipping. This is today shipping. At the same time, it's probably the biggest number of unknowns in the business model, proving it out. So in a sense, it's almost the polar opposite of spiking. It has an extremely ambitious idea that could be totally disruptive, but the steps between where they are today and getting to successful, stable business, there are many more steps involved. And you know, we talk about venture capital as being adventurous, but when it comes down to it, for many, venture capital means what is the safest bet? Because there are so many ways for things to go wrong when you have a whole series of assumptions. And I think that puts Flype in a little bit of a disadvantageous position because they're just getting ready to do their Series A. Okay, so there are lots of question marks for what is potentially highly disruptive. Now, we next did Playway.
Right.
Okay. Now, again, Playway is kind of a blend between the two because this is a company that is success in creating successful games. And what they're saying is we want to, in essence, crowdsource and tokenize reward the crowdsourcing of great game ideas. So they're stepping just a little bit outside of what they've done before, but they have a successful engine for accomplishing it. And they see the opportunity there that what's really needed are a better influx of good ideas, and what better way to essentially crowdsource and incentivize that than through a tokenized system that draws in interest. And then we have Kambria, which, you know, not only is Kambria innovative, but they're trying to disrupt the very innovation process itself. And, you know, I've spent a lot of my career years in the research environment and moving research out of the lab and into the real world. And so I can attest to the fact that there are so many projects that are lost along the way, and then they become abandoned assets. And the idea of opening this up so that you're essentially open sourcing the innovation process, that's a breathtaking leap, but not a proven model.
Right.
And so I think we have, on the one hand, this scale that, say, favors spiking and doesn't favor Flype in terms of how conservative and how few steps are needed to get to success. On the other hand, we could almost order them in exactly the opposite order in terms of just how large an opportunity and how large a situation they're trying to disrupt. And so I wouldn't rule any of these out as poor ideas. I think they all have potential, but for me, ultimately, because I do have to make a final decision,
Right.
it comes down to highest likelihood of success in that blockchain dominated space. And I think I'm at the point of I'm ready to reveal what I'm going to choose as the overall winner. Is it too early for me to say that?
No, you can. We are waiting for that.
I think because of the highest likelihood of success, the fewest question marks, I have to give the edge to spiking.
Right. Thanks.
We've got a demonstrated vibrant market on the traditional assets and equities side. And now to simply make the step over out of that into cryptocurrencies using much of their same successful mechanisms, I think just has to give them a slight edge over the others. But I would, you know, all of them I think are worth investigating further.
Okay, so
No bad ideas here.
thanks for that. So spiking, from your point of view, got 10 points. If we will choose 10 point score rating. How about what other will get the points from your opinion? For example, if you will use 10 points score rating, so Flype,
Sure.
how much score will be from your point
I
of view?
think I'd have to give 8 points to Playway.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Again, based on the fact that they have a proven existing model, and what they're really trying to do is to open up just the very starting point of the model. And they want to use tokens to incentivize that. So again, there's really only one new thing that they're trying to do, but it's not clear to me just whether the real limiting factor is the need for new, unique game ideas. I'm inclined to think that execution and implementation are more the key bottleneck. And so that's why I would give them just a slightly lower score, but still a strong idea. I'd put Kambria in at 7, okay. Not because they lack ambition, but because there's an awful lot of things that they're going to have to get right. Okay. The problem they describe is very real, but that speaks to the market opportunity. It doesn't necessarily guarantee that their solution is the one that will correctly address the market opportunity. I can think of many issues involved in the incentivizing and how you allocate who gets 20% of the credit, who gets 10% of the credit, who made the biggest difference. That would be a great problem to get solved well, but we don't yet know whether they have solved it well. And so for that reason, I would put them in at a 6 or a 7. And finally, with Flype, obviously, if you could take over the FedEx and DHL service, you'd have an enormous market. But because they are pre-Series A funding, you have to put more question marks in there. And they have done the one study, the pilot, the trial, but I'd sure like to see more about their logistics and how they plan to handle smoothly and reliably all of these deliveries. I think they have a fairly effective competitor, if you will, that they're going after. Companies like DHL and FedEx have spent years and years refining their process, and true to form about Uber and Airbnb, the advantage of Flype is that they're freeing up so much capital because people are already taking these flights. So they don't have to buy the airplanes and staff the crews and everything. But I just think they have farther to go. And so I put them at about a 5.
Okay.
Thanks a lot, Scott, for your great feedback. I'm really blown away by the information which we got. So let me summarize. Spiking is 10, Playway is 8, Kambria 7, and Flype is 5 score. Thanks again for joining us and for staying with us.
Pleasure. I really appreciate the chance to be involved, and I wish all of these companies success. I think there's big opportunity for all of them.
His Excellency Khurram Shroff. His Excellency Khurram Shroff is an early adopter and runs a private fund which invests in blockchain projects. He is an award recipient for the Banking and Finance Excellence Award for 2018 and got honored to be in the top 100 most powerful and influential Muslims in Great Britain and the world by Power 100.
Hello everyone, nice to be a judge on the BTC TV show, and it was a very interesting process to go through the 4 contestants, Spiking, Flype, Playway, and Kambria. And one of the things which really hit me through looking at their pitches is that every idea is a very innovative idea, and it's been really difficult because this year I'm looking at more on how can we impact the most amount of people in their daily lives, and really look at the sustainable development goals as a main pillar to any sort of investment that we do. But let me go with one of the most innovative ideas, which I thought was Kambria, and it was very innovative. I think it is trying to disrupt innovation, and we see this in the developing world all the time, that projects get started and then they don't finish, and they're forgotten, and there are a lot of value hidden in those particular projects, and so it's very mind-boggling in terms of it's such a big impact that can happen to the developing world through Kambria. However, it is very far-fetched, even though they're trying to crowdsource sort of innovation. There are a lot of question marks in the entire process. So even though it's very innovative in terms of money, I'm still debating. Now, going on to another idea, which I think is also pretty innovative, which is Flype, and they're sort of trying to be like the Airbnb, or more like Khurram in this area, or Uber or Lyft of delivery, and as opposed to snail mail, which everyone calls regular delivery. You have an ability to get it delivered today, and especially with all the passengers who are not taking in that much luggage, or they can be really instrumental in making sure the delivery happens today. It's pretty new, and I've seen other ideas like this. They're also going for their Series A right now, so they're sort of like really in the beginning. there's again, I mean, this is a huge undertaking that they would take up in terms of competing with UPS or FedEx, and again, these are mammoth organizations who have their own planes and thousands of people with logistics that work for them. So I believe that there are still a lot of question marks in the process with Flype. In terms of going to the third one, Playway, successful games and crowdsourcing gaming talent and tokenizing a reward system on it. I understand completely, because I have kids and they're playing Fortnite, and one of the biggest gifts that they would love is these Fortnite money or points, and then they can buy dances and skins on it. And so, and I was reading somewhere that the gaming industry beat the movie industry a year ago or something in terms of sale value, and I see it is very addictive. In terms of crowdsourcing talent, there's a lot of talent which is also not being utilized. So tokenizing of a reward system for not only gamers but game producers is something, and they've already done it. So they've come up with some successful games, and so I would say they've got lesser question mark because they've done something already. And then off to spiking. Spiking's got a good direction. We are investors in the capital markets also, and if they're trying to follow existing investors like Warren Buffett and even Mr. James Diamond, who JP Coin has come out recently to help settle payments within the JP Morgan setup. However, they're following existing capital market players who are gurus in their fields, and they're taking the successful model and extending it to crypto. So not necessarily they can be impactful, but they can definitely create more efficiencies for other investors. And I really believe the way that they're going, that they should be successful, because right now a lot of players are changing their position, such as Warren Buffett was shaving off stocks of Apple and buying into Suncor Energy. So this type of information is very valuable for investors to learn from the gurus such as that. In terms of, so these are the four really quick feedback on all these four ideas, and all these four ideas are amazing, and I wish all the team behind Spiking, Flype, Playway, and of Kambria best of luck, and we will definitely keep an eye on you. And we welcome you to reach out to myself directly, preferably on LinkedIn. And let's see how we can help you with resources. We currently have set up an incubation center, in the process to set up an incubation center at the University of Mauritius, especially for projects that can have an impact across Africa and Asia. And we look forward to seeing how we could do piloting and look at you guys as MVP and take the discussion forward. I'm going to give points to now to Spiking. I would say there'd probably be a 9 out of 10, and Playway would be 8, and Kambria would be 7, and Flype would be a 6. Again, thank you for giving me the opportunity to judge and to see such beautiful ideas and amazing people behind those ideas. And I wish you all again the best of luck from Khurram Shroff in Dubai. And I welcome you all to Dubai and look forward to chatting with you all further. Thank you. Have a great day.
Miko Matsumura. Miko Matsumura founded crypto exchange Evercoin and is a general partner with Gumi Cryptos Capital. He is also a venture partner with Bitbull Capital and an advisor to Arrington XRP Capital. He is an advisor to LCX, the Liechtenstein cryptocurrency exchange. He is an investor in the Pantera Capital ICO Fund, a 100 million ICO-only fund. He is also an LP with Focus Ventures, a firm with over $800 million under management, 9 IPOs, and 44 exits.
So now, after we saw all those 4 pitches of our participants, now we are ready for the most important part of our show. It is voting by our famous judges. And right now, I'm asking to review the projects by Miko Matsumura, which is, very famous in blockchain community. So Miko, thanks for joining us and for staying with us. Glad to see you here. So as I said, now we are coming really to the very hard part of the show, because now we would love to hear your opinion, Miko, about all those 4 projects and how much score you will give to each of them. The first one, as you remember, the first one project was Spiking. So what do you think about them?
Yes, so what I would like to say about spiking is one of the things that is laudable about the whole play is traction, right? So clearly the team has entered several markets, so I would give them a reasonable score in the traction category. What I'd like to do before diving in deep here is really just give you a bigger picture of the way that I'm kind of seeing these pitches. So, to me, one of the things that's very important, so I live in Silicon Valley, and, I have a specific lens through which I view pitches. I happen to be a general partner with Gumi Cryptos, which is a venture capital investment fund. We invest in seed stage deals, and we look at, typically our deal sourcing is referral only. So we, if it comes in through our friends or through our network, we tend to take the deals. I would, to me, I feel like one of the things that's very important is pitch education. So I think the community should, there's a bunch of things I'd like people to understand before they pitch. I'd say the first and foremost is that there's actually a format. So I would say that the best standard format for pitching is the Sequoia pitch deck template. So if you do a Google search or look on SlideShare on LinkedIn, you can see that Sequoia offers a very specific template for the types of things that you want to pitch. So that's something I would suggest. The other things I would suggest is learning more about who you're pitching. Obviously, on a television program, it's difficult, but to me, I would learn the culture. So the references I would provide, one would be, these were all early stage deals, so I would recommend everyone read a book called Angel by Jason Calacanis. So that's a very nice book for learning about early stage investing and how early stage investors think. For a little bit later stage view, I would read 0 to 1 by Peter Thiel, another classic for Silicon Valley. This will help you understand more about like the Series A investor. Obviously, Peter Thiel goes very early. He also goes very big. So, he really has the whole range. But that will help you understand venture fund economics. And then I would say the third book to read is probably Ben Horowitz, The Hard Thing About Hard Things. Terrific narrative about the kind of birth of Andreessen Horowitz, but prior to that, Loud Cloud and, really just kind of the adventures of an entrepreneur, through lots of challenges. You can read other kind of Silicon Valley culture books and biographies like Steve Jobs, and the Elon Musk one is interesting just because of the subject. But, these are all things that I think people should have in their minds as they're kind of going. And Silicon Valley is not the only place where there's venture capital, but, the culture is unique. But I found that in general, other venture cultures tend to, trigger off of what's happening in Silicon Valley. So I just want to give my perspective on the pitches in general. I want people to kind of learn a little bit more about how to pitch, and I want to provide what I think of as important. So in the early stage, I think that really there's 4 things that are important to me when I evaluate a pitch, and I'm really thinking about it from the perspective of investment. So the first thing that is the most important is the team. And so to me, the reason why the team is so important is that, people in venture capital look at what problems can be fixed with money. Because people in venture capital, they have money, but they don't have anything else. That's all they have is they have money, right? So they look for problems that money can fix. And it turns out that team problems are hard to fix with money. Like no amount of money can fix like fundamental team problems. And so the team becomes really, really important. The market is very important. And obviously when I say market, I'm obviously including the idea, right? Which is how does the idea and the product and the market, how does that all fit together, right? And typically venture investor will look for a very big market, but they'll also look for a good way of entering that market. So it includes things like go-to-market and these types of issues. The third thing that we tend to care about is traction, right? So traction is, and the thing I don't ever like to hear is I don't like to hear people talk about traction in terms of fundraising. So when we talk about traction, we're talking about customers, we're talking about revenue, we're talking about, if you don't have any of those things, users, and anything but that represents your value that you're creating in the world, not the value that you're getting from investors. So if I ask a company, hey, what's your traction so far? And if they say, oh, we launched our ICO, like that's not good. Like it's a bad tell because they're focused on getting money, but they're not focused on creating value. So to me, traction is super important. And then finally, the deal. And so what I mean by the deal is that, if you're an investor, you want a good deal, so if it's an impossible deal or expensive deal or, overpriced or, so even if it's a pretty good in all categories, but the deal is a bad deal, then that's not a doable deal. And finally, there's kind of a catch-all bucket, which is the mindset. And the mindset is really like, how do these people think? And do they have a way of thinking that's either conducive or not conducive to their success, right? So I think, and that's a subset of team, but it's kind of a catch-all to really kind of understand if there's a unique mindset. So, with that in mind, I'm happy to dig in and start addressing each of these deals.
Excellent. Thanks a lot. This is information which you provided is so valuable, and I bet that many companies will listen carefully to what you say. So yes, please tell us about all those projects. And as I said, let's start maybe with the first one, with spiking.
Yeah, absolutely. So I always want to start with something favorable. So I really want to talk in this case about kind of the traction. So they have a few years of execution under their belt. To me, in some markets, kind of typically in an early stage company, a pivot is a good thing, not a bad thing, right? So, obviously there's bridge rounds and restarts and, there's all kinds of complications, but to me, the fact that they went from tracking Warren Buffett to tracking blockchain investment is good, right? Because I like to see a team that can execute and change and find their market. So I think that the traction is encouraging. So that's the positive side. One of the things that I think was missing from their pitch really was team. So obviously the person who's pitching, you can see them and you can evaluate their ability to pitch, but I wasn't given any background or any kind of notion of who the other team members were. Clearly there is a team, because they couldn't have executed product into 4 countries without a team, but I didn't come away with any feeling of who they were. So I would, I rated that one as a question mark. So, from the perspective of markets, this idea is actually a reasonably good idea, which is that blockchains provide incredibly good transparent information about the activities of things. And you can actually look at something like a whale And the way you analyze a whale is you just look at all the big wallets, you look for activity, and then you look for what's coming in and out. So you can look at something like an Ethereum wallet, and you can look at ERC20s coming in and out, and after a certain amount of time observing, you may not even need to know who that person is. All you need to know is that their performance is good, right? So if you just actually multiply, something like, the blockchain browsers that are just publicly available will actually tell you the dollar value of that account, right? So you can actually see the growth in the dollar value. So if you just analyze what's publicly available on a blockchain, you can get important information about what to buy and what not to buy. So I think from the perspective of the play makes sense, and that's a thing. Now, I've heard this pitch before, so I've heard that play before, so, it makes sense and other people are also doing it. That's not a showstopper, but it's a sensible thing to do. With respect to the deal, one of the things that was kind of a tell for me, the speaker was from, I presume Singapore. He mentioned Singapore several times, awarded in Singapore. So I assume it's a Singapore company with Singapore team. He mentioned ICO, right? So from a deal perspective, ICOs are kind of currently more disfavorable, and even having successfully completed an ICO is still something that actually potentially is disfavorable. The reason being that there may be regulatory concerns, so you may have liability from having done something that will achieve regulatory scrutiny. That said, one of the things that I do like is I do like the Singapore jurisdiction, because Singapore jurisdiction is relatively friendly, and obviously Singapore is a hotbed of fintech innovation. So from that perspective, I liked that. So really, to me, I would dock the points on the deal. Obviously the team points, not so many team points, reasonably good traction, it sounds like, although I would love to see numbers. So overall, out of 10, I would give this pitch a 4.5.
4.5, yes?
Yes.
Oh, okay, cool. The second project was Flype, about decentralization of parcel system. As you know, they want to compete with DHL and FedEx. So what do you think about Flype?
Yes. So, obviously, we can immediately dig into kind of the market, and we can dig into the idea. So like most good ideas in blockchain, I've actually heard this idea before. So, I do have a friend who's working on a company that has a similar theme, right? Which is obviously, it's connecting the sharing economy, which is kind of people doing things, gigs, and they do these short gigs, and now obviously the whole thing's coordinated by things like mobile devices, and in this case, blockchain. And obviously, when you think about things like international package delivery, the blockchain with the cryptocurrencies do solve a significant problem of how do you appropriately compensate people across, borders. So it's a logical thing to do. In terms of market, I would say that, it's an okay market. One of the things about team, the speaker didn't kind of disqualify themselves from this sort of team category, because he mentioned that there were 14 people, so that's at least gives them kind of information that I can use to evaluate the company, so it seems like they've got sort of some juice. I would say with respect to, the pitch, one of the dings I would give to the pitch is that, not much in the way of visuals, right? So in terms of like slides, so for me, a picture is worth 1,000 words. I definitely advise people to use the Sequoia template, which covers like basically very key topics like competition, why now, like the market you're in. It actually says, there's a slide called team. You're supposed to put your team on it, so following that template will give investors all the information, the basic information. So, pitches that have basic information that's missing, like it's hard, right? It makes it harder. So, looking at this overall, I would rate also, from this overall, I would also rate this one in a 4.5. I think on the plus side, I think one of the things that makes this kind of shine more is that it is a Series A equity round. And from the perspective of the deal, obviously we don't know the deal terms, but clearly the trend line for investment is towards kind of more traditional things. And, Series A equity round is a very familiar structure for investors. So that kind of gives them a little bit of a leg up. I would say in terms of traction, I would say that they don't have as much traction as Spiking because, they have done a successful test with like 500 packages, but, it's different from having like hardened product rollout to 4 countries. So, it's definitely a earlier stage deal from the traction perspective.
Excellent, thanks. Third team was Playway, about games development and ideas. So what do you think about that?
Yeah, so that was another one where I felt that the pitch kind of didn't hit the Sequoia template, and for that reason didn't provide enough information about the team, right? And so, the reason why I kind of really emphasize the template, the thing that's great about, so to me, I don't mind if an entrepreneur goes off the template, but to me, it's really the purpose for the template is really just to provide the basics, right? So if you're going to go off the template, in a way, it's sort of, you should know the rules, so then you can break the rules. But if you don't know the rules, then you probably shouldn't just break the rules, kind of just because, right? So to me, the thing that the Sequoia template does is it at least puts you into a box, and it forces you to divulge the information that everybody needs, right? So, so again, kind of like, not talking about, and, people are not that, comfortable necessarily bragging about themselves, but, I think that this format does a beautiful job of that, and for example, like I think Kambria did well with that, which is this classic thing to do is just show a slide that has people's faces on it, including yourself. And then you can kind of talk about yourself as if you're just one other person on the slide, and not be so much like I did this, I did that, like that, just be more like, here's the background of the team, there's the things that we did and I used to be at this place or whatever. So that's a super useful format and a very helpful thing for any investor. So, having a question mark in that bucket, you kind of have to get penalized a little bit for that. I think this is another deal that looks like it has traction. So I did like that. So as a positive thing on Playway, the team has clearly done this before. They've produced games and, they clearly had the visuals helped. One of the things I liked about the visuals is that the visuals are very concrete and very real, right? So they were showing things that were obviously real games, and they were showing things that, that were reflective of like, okay, this is a real business with real games and a real team, right? So it felt concrete, but obviously it was mostly just kind of like web pages and things, and so in a way, it wasn't enough structure for me to evaluate the pitch. So, to me, one of the things that I struggled with Playway, and it could have been a pitch issue rather than a real world issue, is kind of the market and idea, which is there was a very strong emphasis on game ideas. And they were like, we really want to reward people for game ideas. And I feel like Gumi as a company actually comes from gaming. And so one of the things that, is my mindset is that ideas actually are not necessarily the missing ingredient. If you look at the evolution of games and gaming, obviously it's a hits business. So you get a hit and then you make a crazy amount of money if you get a hit, right? And so the thing that's really missing in gaming, oftentimes it's kind of execution. I think when it comes to ideas, most successful game ideas are really patterned after successful games. Like for example, right now, like Apex Legends is like this huge hit, right? And what is it? It's basically a little bit like Fortnite, and then you just added a couple elements from like Overwatch. You have sort of like champion selects, and then you have kind of different classes, and then you kind of have this drop onto an island, which is pure Fortnite. And so like, I guess what I'm saying is that I'm not convinced that ideas are the scarcity in gaming. So if someone gives you an idea for a game, I don't think that's enough. I don't think that's enough to kind of drive a venture class business. So I would be concerned about that. I would say the other thing that was potentially, a yellow flag might be kind of the dividend token model. So that suggested a leaning towards kind of an STO offering type of an approach. While I think it's very late for ICO, I think it's early for STO. So I think we're in a gap, and the gap that we're in favored like Flype, which is offering kind of equity Series A, right? Because the gap really forces everyone to kind of go back to the basics, And so I think that we're early for STO, we're late for ICO, and because of that, this gap has to be filled with kind of traditional financial investment opportunities. So I think that's another issue. So because this Playway kind of got docked in sort of market and idea and docked in kind of the deal category, the traction that they do have, the presumed traction and experience they have as game producers, doesn't save the deal that much. So I would rate this as a solid 4.0. So it's a 4 out of 10.
Okay, thanks. And now we are coming to the last one, Kambria. So what do you think about this one, last one?
Absolutely. So, the biggest strength of this one would be team. I think one of the things that we did see is we saw a very nice presentation of the team, so they did follow kind of classical format about team, so clearly they have done kind of the pitch deck thing. And when you look at kind of the buzzwords around team, obviously like very top academic institutions, and so a lot of the things that you tick with boxes around the team, you think, okay, that's great, high performing people, so I would give the team in this case like a 9 out of 10, a very good team. For me, the places where I had a little bit more of a question mark is, what's the deal, right? Like if you look in the Sequoia deck, there's typically kind of this notion of an ask, right? So, the format is kind of like you have like use of proceeds, ask, so roadmap. These are all answering the question of kind of like how much are you raising? Maybe what are the terms? So like, and obviously it's hard on a, online TV show because you don't really know what to expect and what you're pitching for, what the purpose is. But I really wasn't able to get kind of deal terms from Kambria. So for me, I don't dock when that happens. I really just leave it as a question mark, right? And I just divide the other category scores, right? To me, the concern that I would have here, I think the traction is probably not that big yet. I think it's still pretty early. I would say with respect to the business model and the idea, I think it's certainly ambitious to talk about innovation, robotics, AI. Those are very hot kind of big venture themes. But I still was left with a lot of questions about like, how does Kambria sort of monetize itself? And if it's not able to monetize itself, then how can it return shareholder value? And so that's kind of the investor's mindset. So I think with that, I would say that, one of the things that Kambria did do is they showed their team, and that was one of their great strengths. So I think that pulls Kambria up to, in my eyes, like a 5 out of 10. So I think with respect to the scores I have given, that puts them in the top spot.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Miko, for your great feedback to each this project. Thanks for supporting our TV show, and it was always a pleasure to see you here with us. Meanwhile, I want to encourage everybody to start voting for your favorite project, because we will combine all votes together. So now our audience is also like a part of the judge. So you are also a judge right now. And as I said, we will calculate all votes together, and we will announce a winner just in 1 week.
Blockchain Stars are proud to present our partners: BitBay, X-Rates, CoinMarketCap, ICO Bench, BC and Law, the Blockchain Summit Austria, the European Blockchain Investment Congress, Malta Blockchain Summit, Digifinex, Block Show,